Dear students, today we're going to review the values and ethics of social work. The objectives for today's lesson is to review the National Code of Ethics, ethical dilemmas and case studies, values and ethics, and the core values of social work profession. What are values? Basically, those are the beliefs about how things should be, what is right and what is wrong. Our values are usually emotionally charged and they motivate us to take action. Among the many spheres of values are your client's values, your own personal values, the professional values, the social values, sometimes political values and laws, and also their agency values. One of the reasons why we want to teach you about the values of social work and ethics of social work is to help you decide whether you want to be a social worker, whether you can be a social worker, or you should switch to another discipline altogether. Because being a social worker means you put your clients first, above your own needs. We work longer hours than any other profession. Oftentimes, our personal life is neglected. Many of us are single, and many of us are childless. Because again, our clients are our lives. In addition, if you decide not to become a social worker, chances are you will be at one point in your life you will have to deal with a social worker, and you need to know what to expect from them and how they should behave and how you can correct them. Now, let us review the 6 core social work values. Social workers see that relationships are the key to help a client. They're central to our positive functioning and they need to be straightened. Integrity is the second social work value, which means that we need to be fair, honest, and avoid dual relationship. We need to provide referrals when appropriate, and clients need to be able to trust us. The third value is competence. As the social workers, we need to acquire and maintain the highest level of knowledge, skills, and values. We need to recognize our personal limitations due to conflicts that we may have due to our religion or skills. We need to use supervision and consultation. Our fourth value is service. We exist to provide help, resources, and benefits. We're here to help clients maximize their potential. The fifth value is social justice, because all citizens should have the same rights, protections, and opportunities, and we're here to enhance the social and economic justice and equity of access to the needed resources. Our sixth value is dignity and inherent worth of the individual. We believe that each and everybody has inherent value and we all have strengths. We also believe that all clients have the right to self-determination, privacy, and confidentiality. So what is the National Association of Social Workers Code of Ethics? It's a very small document that sets forth the values, principles, and standards of the profession to guide social workers' conduct. There are 6 major categories of the ethical standards. There are ethical responsibilities to the clients and to the profession, to colleagues, to ourselves, to the practice setting, and broader society. As I mentioned before, among the many principles and values for social work profession, one of the most important is that clients' interests are primary, unless of course this interest is against the law, such as harming self or others. Please be sure to read the Code of Ethics to be able to answer some of the questions on your quiz. So, ethical responsibilities to the client means we have to promote client self-determination each and every day. We need to safeguard the client's confidentiality. We need to preserve our personal, professional boundaries. We need to avoid conflict of interest and dual relationship. And by dual relationship, I mean having personal, intimate, or economic relationship with a client outside of your work. So ethical responsibilities to the clients include personal values, which means that we all have the right to our own personal values. We need to recognize that those values are essential and ongoing. We need to distinguish between our own personal values and professional values. And we can never impose our own personal values on clients. Ethical responsibilities as professionals means that we need to maintain and enhance our professional knowledge. We must be honest and avoid fraud. We must represent ourselves and our credentials accurately. Therefore, when your client calls you Dr. Church, you need to correct them and say, I want you to remember that I am a licensed social worker or licensed clinical social worker and I'm not a doctor. We can't discriminate. We address our personal problems before they interfere with the duties. We do not solicit clients for personal gain. And we always contribute to the social work knowledge through research and evaluation. It's very important to remember that social workers are expected not to allow their own personal problems, psychosocial distress, legal problems, substance abuse, or mental health issues to interfere with our professional judgment and performance, or to jeopardize the best interests of people for whom we have a professional responsibility. In case if you do suffer from psychosocial distress, personal problems, or legal and substance abuse and mental health issues, you have to seek help, consultation, and make adjustments in your workload, perhaps even terminating the practice, or taking any other steps necessary to protect your clients and others. In addition, you're also ethically bound to be responsible colleague, which means you must respect your colleagues and always avoid criticism of your colleagues. We cannot badmouth our colleague, no matter what we think about them. We need to refer for service to the colleagues who actually have the necessary skill to assist the client. In practice setting, you are bound to gain the skill, education, and knowledge to perform the assigned job duties. You must advocate for increased funding and resources for your clients and your agency. And of course, you prevent discrimination in the workplace and toward the clients. Your responsibility to the broader society include always adhering to the core values of social work. You must help create effective public policy. You need to increase equality and access to resources for all of your clients and all the society. Also, you will need to work on eliminating discrimination. Now let's review some ethical dilemmas. Some of you who will work with children can end up in a situation like that. Imagine that you're a social work administrator where 2 deaf children have been removed from the home of their deaf parents because of neglect, and these 2 children have been placed in the home of the hearing foster parent who doesn't know American Sign Language. The children's doctor says the children would gain partial hearing if they were given special implants. And then one of your supervisees wants to recommend those implants because she believes that they will help the children communicate much better with their foster parents and in the society. At the same time, the parents want their children to remain immersed in the deaf culture and are strongly against the implants. What are you going to do? Here is where we usually analyze the ethical dilemma. We look for the potential difficulties with the case. We consult with the code of ethics, identify the dilemma, and of course we identify our own personal values around this topic. We need to ensure that the services and social justice are observed, that we cherish their human relationship, and we will improve the relationship for these children and their parents. So what are you going to do in regards to this case? After you watch this presentation, I want you to analyze it and consider different ways to handle it. Here is a second dilemma. Imagine that you're a medical social worker and a child has a treatable but deadly form of cancer, and the doctors have prescribed chemotherapy and radiation. The child is in your unit. The child's parents are divorced. Now, the mother is a member of a religious group that believes in prayer as a cure for illness, and the mother is strongly opposed to utilizing Western medical interventions. The child's father doesn't have legal custody, but he wants his daughter to receive the medical treatment. So the case has been referred to you because you're a medical social worker, and the father wants to meet with you and the rest of the family for consultation. What are you going to do? And here is the third ethical dilemma. Imagine that you're a residential counselor in a group home with adult clients who suffer from severe mental illness such as schizophrenia, on top of the many other medical issues, which includes hepatitis C. Now imagine that two of your clients begin dating and they're ready to become intimate. They both are inexperienced and ask you to guide them through communication process regarding this sensitive topic. What are your actions? Again, analyzing the ethical dilemma, you have to examine your own values. You have to examine the values of your agency. You have to consider your client's self-determination. And you probably would need to seek supervision to decide what is the right course of action. Also, you need to consider your own level of skills and think whether or not you're able to help these two clients. Are you prepared enough? Do you have enough knowledge about couples therapy and counseling? What do you know about their medical insurance? If they're on Medicaid, the chances are your client probably will not be able to see a marriage counselor. So there are many things that you have to consider and come up with the best decision. And I promise you, if you become a social worker, there will be nights when you cannot fall asleep thinking about what is the right thing to do. And as a rule of thumb, I want you to remember, in your practice, when you work with other people, if you have this nagging feeling and all of a sudden you think, maybe I need to ask my supervisor if I can do that or if I can say that. As soon as that thought pops in your mind, that basically means that's an ethical dilemma. And the answer usually is no. If we have to ask for permission, then our higher self probably knows that it's better if you don't do that. Thank you.